Hi, Mr. Caswell here, and I'm going to show you how to tune today. I know in the past you've been told not to tune your instruments at home, but given the circumstances, I think it's a great idea that you learn how to tune yourself and how to tune up your instruments so that way you can actually get some practicing in. The reason that we don't like it when students and parents tune their instruments at home is because it poses a risk for the instruments, for the safety of the instruments. We can break strings, we can collapse bridges, and we always just want to make sure that the instrument is kept safe and in working order. So, that being said, while your instrument is tuned with the pegs, I would really prefer it if there is a parent present, either a parent doing it or a parent and student helping each other out. Just that way there's an adult in the room who can supervise and make sure that it's done in a very safe and careful manner. So first up, I just wanted to go over the things that could go wrong and could harm the instrument if the tuning is not done properly. So the first thing is that if we tighten the pegs too much, past where the strings are meant to be tightened, the strings could actually break. It's not a big deal. They're easily replaceable, but it's just something we want to avoid. Another thing we want to avoid is a collapsed bridge, which can sometimes happen if an instrument gets really, really out of tune. This is what a straight bridge looks like. If you look at the bridge, you notice that it's perpendicular to the rest of the body, it's perpendicular to the strings, it's not tilted or anything like that, then this means that the instrument can be safely tuned. If the bridge is tilted like this, then that means that if tuned the right way, it could actually fall over, and that's a bad thing. So if the bridge is tilted like this, I'd say leave the instrument alone and go to someone like John Keel shops or just another violin shop that can help you out with that. I wouldn't want to try that at home if you aren't really experienced with this stuff. The next thing you're going to want to do, if you haven't already, is get a tuning app. So what we're going to do is we're going to check out the App Store, or whatever your equivalent is, and we're just going to go type in tuner. Doesn't need to be violin tuner, just any old tuner. And there are tons of different great tuners that you can use. A lot of them are free, some of them are paid. As with everything in life, if you pay for it, it's of course a lot better. Free is obviously a lot worse, but they all do the job. This is a tuning app that I have on my iPad. It's a pretty good one, and it was free too. So you can see as I'm talking, the little meter here is flying back and forth. You're going to want one that has something like this, what I would call a meter. Some of them will just have a tuner that only tunes the certain strings, and that's definitely not as good. You're going to want something like this, or something that looks like this. So you can see, I'll play what's supposed to be my A string into the tuner, and it says A, but the meter is all the way to the left, which means it's flat. So what we want to do for that is we want to tighten the peg. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my viola, I'm going to follow the A string all the way up, and notice that it all circles around this peg here. And you can see how it's wound, which direction you need to tighten it. In this case, it's away. So, Rye, please be quiet. So in order to tighten it, what you need to do is you need to be very careful not to tighten it too much. It's not like you're turning a knob in your car stereo. It needs to be very, very slight, because even the slightest adjustment can make a huge difference. So we want to make sure that we twist and we also push in. That way it doesn't slide out on us. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep plucking it so I can kind of hear how much I'm actually doing. And I'm going to push, pushing now, and then slightly twist. Now, that was a very, very small amount, but I'm going to play the A, and you'll notice it just made a pretty sizable difference. So let me try it again. It's always better to be careful, and as I said before, excuse my dog, sorry, I don't want to go past the A because that is when the string's actually going to snap. So we're going to tighten a little more. And I think we're a little closer. Let's try it out. We're right on track. So now I'm going to try the G string. And you can see that it's really flat. It's on the left. So we need to tighten it in order to make the meter go to the right. You can think tight right, loose left. So let's
tighten that G string. Oh, wow, interesting, Rye. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push in again. Now, this is on the left side this time. I already traced the string up all the way here. So I need to push and then slowly tighten. I'm just going to pluck as I go. Oh, I think I got it. Let me try it with the bow. I only went a little bit. And that's pretty close. Now, that's not exactly right on the 0, which is where we want it. But I have these fine tuners. Your student knows how to use these too. It's the same idea, except I can really crank on those and not make a huge difference. So turn that to the right. And then it's just about fine. Another problem that might arise is if we play the string. So this is supposed to be the D string, but I'm going to play into the tuner. Uh-oh. I'm getting a C sharp, which is not the note I'm looking for. And it definitely, if you ask your kid, or you yourself may even be able to know, it doesn't sound right at all. So to fix this one, we need to know a little bit about our musical alphabet. So the note we were looking for was D, but instead it said C sharp. So C sharp is going to be lower than D, since we're always going to be moving in the clockwise. C sharp is lower than D. So that means it's just so flat, it's so out of tune that I need to raise it a lot in order to get it to D. This would work the same if I was tuning the A string. It might be really flat and it might say G sharp, or maybe even say G, or anything even lower than that. And that just means that I have to tune it all the way back up to A. This can also go the opposite direction. If I was playing C, maybe it's too sharp, the string's too tight, which is where we want to try to avoid it if possible. We might even say D, which means I need to loosen it back to C. But anyway, let's go back to the viola and let's bring that C sharp back to a D. So now that I know that it's just really, really out of tune, I'm just going to go about it the same way I did before. So I'm going to grab with one hand, holding the instrument with the other, try to pluck it if possible, and I'm going to push and tighten. I'm just going a little bit just to show you what I mean. And now I just tighten it a little bit and we're back in D zone. We're back to the tuner thinks I'm just playing a really out of tune D. I'll stop talking so you can hear it. So there you go. Now I know we're getting closer and closer. Now, uh-oh. Let's see what happened. Now I'm too sharp. Now I know I said the string could possibly go sharp. This is only a little sharp. It's not a super big deal. We want to just avoid going way too far because that's when the accident could happen. So, in the case that I go a little too sharp, all I do is do the same thing, push, but now I loosen. Let's see if I got it. That's really, really close, and you should be able to fix that with a fine tuner.
So that's the basics of how to tune using the pegs. If you feel nervous at any point, like you feel like you might snap a string, or you feel like things just might not go well, or that you're compromising the safety of the instrument, just leave it. You can always contact me. You can always contact John Keel. I'm always reachable by email. And I can either help you through it, give you advice on it, or we can work something out. Or we can work something out where you can get your instrument safely tuned. So I hope this video helps. Let me know if you have any questions.